All right, well, in this episode of Uncle Vinny's Quantum Ride, I'm going to talk about what's it like in your head, to be on the road. So that include four things, which would be physical, social, emotional, spiritual. Seemed like I left one out. Anyway, so the physical part of it is that you're out in the woods, out in the weather all the time. And, that's a good part to that, which today is a beautiful day. It's breezy in Florida and got the beautiful pond, and and that's really cool. On the other hand, last night it was a little cold, chilly. Chilly. In Florida, it was like 70 degrees. The wind was blowing and it was a thunderstorm. So you have to deal with the elements, and you can deal with the elements just like you could any other place. The difference is you can't not deal with the elements when you're at your house. You can go outside and take a nice brisk walk on a 50-degree day and come in and get warm and say, man, that was great. Well, when you're out in the woods, it's a 50-degree day and it's raining. You ain't no coming in to get out of the weather. You're in the weather, so you got to gear up for it with the warm clothes that are good with what? Good with wetness, rain resistant and all that. That plus the other part is you're moving all the time, putting up tarps. The bathroom is you're digging a hole. You got to squat on the hole. So you're squatting on a hole, and it's like, your legs are like old legs like mine, and it's like, so consequently you don't really want to squat on the hole longer than you have to. So you always wait till it's like, oh, it's time to go now, and then you go and you're done. So really, the actual, what's the word? Not troubling part, but the interesting part to me is I don't get enough exercise. I could go for walks, and I do go for some walks, and I got my yoga pad, and I do some yoga. But, it's like I don't feel like I'm doing enough. I want to be more vigorous and get more exercise, and that's just on me because I don't really have anything else that I need to do, and that's the problem. It's so nice just to sit in the what do I sit in? It's just so nice to sit in the hammock and look out at the pond and read a book and take a nap. That to get up and say, oh, I don't want to get up and walk around the pond 3 times, which I've done this pond 3 times, and it's good. So that's physical. Social is real interesting in that when I'm at a place that has a signal like this place here, Silver Dollar Lake in Florida, I tend to stay in touch with people through text and emails and social media, and I tend to stay in touch with the going on in the world with the news feeds, which is fine, and I like doing that. I also like being where there's no signal, to where I'm much more isolated, and I guess about half the time I have signal. So the other part of the social thing is that people show up. I mean, I'll be sitting here, or I was just sitting here setting up for this, and this car just drives by. And we're out in the National Forest, and the other day there was a couple people camping. There was some people over there one night, camping. So they come and go. Sometimes you get to talk to them, sometimes you don't. Also, the other thing is when you're out in the woods by yourself, I find for me, I'm more interested when I go out into the world to engage people in conversation. And I'm not kind of walled off from too much engagement and all the stimulation of, America and people, and the guy's driving next to me and he's going too slow in front of me. So I'm kind of more open to just have conversations and say, hey, man, what's going on? How you doing? And, people respond to that or they don't, but so that's social part. Plus, I hang out with the Rainbow family, and they're kind of interesting to hang out with. They, they have gatherings in the woods. I've been to a couple this year, or one really. And so there's plenty of social contact, as much as I want. Emotionally, for me, it's interesting because I'm an older guy, and I'm living like this mostly because I don't have much choice. Oh, that was another section, the financial part. So let's add that into this. So it's like, I didn't do good retirement planning, you know what I mean? I ended up spending my money on other people and fun and enjoying my life. So, I'm living off Social Security, which is fine for this kind of lifestyle. It doesn't support any other lifestyle. in terms of having a house or an apartment or a room even. And sometimes I stay with friends and family. I pick up odd jobs now and again to make a few bucks. I haven't gone to busking, playing my guitar and trying to earn some money that way. I need to earn a little bit more money. I don't really need to. I kind of want to earn a little bit more money so I can just have more money. But I've got enough. And it's always been my philosophy of money is that I'll always have enough. And what I learned, and this was an interesting lesson, is that sometimes no money is enough money. So that's the financial. Emotionally, I get kind of, peaceful. I get real peaceful out in the woods and unconcerned. That said, at the same time, there's times when I'm like, I don't know, man, I'm getting old and this is a life. And can I live this life? Who knows what the future will hold? Will I be able to cope with this for the rest of my life, whatever that might be? So, those thoughts come up. And then I also realize, right behind that, is that everybody has that. So those concerns aren't different from me than anybody else. Half the people in the United States live from paycheck to paycheck. If they lost their job, they would be screwed. And they worry about their health and how they're going to sustain the life that they're living and their kids and their family. So it's not different for me. It's just the different circumstances, but it's the same concern about uncertainty. But I've learned over the years to embrace uncertainty. And so I do. And emotional. So I get lonely. I don't really get lonely. Sometimes I wish my friends were out here and hanging out, having fun with me, but they've got busy lives. So let's see. That leaves what? That leaves the spiritual. Well, the spiritual part is pretty straightforward. I mean, look at this, man. For me, this is a spiritual experience. This is like being by God. Being in God, being surrounded by God, God's creation. I noticed that compared to when I'm in the world, Babylon, I'm more surrounded by human beings' creation. You go to Walmart, for example, just to pick on Walmart. You walk into Walmart and you're surrounded not by God, but by human effort, by humanity. This is human creation. And, I look at Walmart and I'm like, well, shit, is this the best we can do? But regardless of that, when I'm out in the woods, I feel like I'm in a spiritual place. I'm in the creation of the Creator. And also I do spiritual practices and I do spiritual studies. So I'm studying lately, I'm studying mindfulness training by the Buddhist, and I'm studying the Vimalakirti, which is another Buddhist teaching from contemporary of Buddha back in those days. So, and I sit out and I'll meditate and do yoga and stuff like that as well. I guess that's it. That's what it's like in my head, finding peace and wisdom out in the woods. I hope you find some peace and wisdom wherever you are. That's it for now. Be well and happy.